Hey, it's that miscreant Matthew Lloyd. Matt says, hey, it seems like much of your recent content targets primarily conservative audiences. We know you have a passion for messaging and reaching the culture outside conservatism. Can you share more details on your ideas to do more of that in the future? It's a kind way to tee up the whole video game thing, but after 2-3 months of talking about it, we still haven't gone back to the people who wrote in letters. It's taken a long time. But we've got, I had to put together costumes. I spent a full month and a half, 6 weeks, 7 weeks trying to figure out how to get these game assets back into the render engine that created them, and that doesn't seem likely. So by the end of September, I will have finished a demo, and the demo will be a complete film. It'll be a 3 or 4 minute film. It'll be start to finish, and it will have one political message in it, one, and you won't know it. It certainly won't know it if you're not a fan of mine. If you are a fan of mine, then you'll probably be able to pick it up. But it's basically going to be kind of an adventure story, and with real characters, and it's just going to be cast of 2, well, a couple of others, but basically it's going to be me and Alfonso Rachel, and we're going to be acting, and he's a great actor. And we're going to be using all of the tools that I had prior to doing this. Right now, my tool set consists of me standing in front of a green screen or in front of a background or behind a podium and talking to people in first person. And it's me and my voice and whatever lunacy pops into my head, and that's it. Using, forget the technology, forget the games, forget the whole computer game thing, forget all of that, put that aside for a minute. Just the fact that I can tell fictional stories gives me enormously more tools to work with. I can use music, for example. I can use lighting. I can use pauses. I can have adversaries, and I can have antagonists. I can have protagonists. I can have protagonists making mistakes. I can do things with an expression that I could never do with an explanation, and everybody who knows anything about this line of work understands that it's one thing to tell people something. If you tell them something, it's processed with their cerebral cortex. If you tell them something, it's an intellectual delivery that they have to decode intellectually and then internalize emotionally. However, if you show them something, it goes straight past that. It goes right straight past the cortex, goes right into the brainstem, and it goes right to the limbic system. It goes right to your emotions, and if it's really well done, can go right down to your reptile brain, and you don't have to think about it. And that is how they got this country into this kind of trouble, and that's how we're going to get it back. So the ability to write scripts and have those tools of pacing and action, just having cool stuff happen, is enormously powerful. It gets people who would never, ever sit still for a 6-minute firewall or even a 4-minute firewall. They would never, ever sit still for that. But if you're doing things that they like to do and it's interesting and it keeps moving, you can probably pin them down for a 4-minute segment, and that's the plan. I plan to do one to show people the proof of concept, and then if I can get some funding for it, I will, and if not, I'll keep doing it anyway. And it would be basically a series of little 4 or 5 minute videos with a sequential timeline with a gigantic big character arc. And the character arc is basically somebody comes to this guy because a couple of rich people come to this guy because they want to build America in space, and they need somebody who knows how to do that. And I'm basing the character I'm playing on John Boyd, who is a genius and who was mocked for all of the things he thought of. I'm not comparing myself to the genius part. I'm just saying he's the most really important guy who had such breakthrough ideas, and nobody knows about him. So give me a chance to do that. And while I'm talking about these things, I get a chance to talk to young people, primarily young men, because a flight instructor is very much a father figure. And while you're showing all this groovy, fantastic graphics and stuff and teaching people how to fly, which also interests the people who are watching, then you can get them on other things too. You can start to talk to them about things like honor and commitment and integrity and all of these things, courage, all of these. And you can tell them without telling them. You just show them. You show people doing things. Look, I would never have been in this business if I could make feature films, because I'd be making feature films be far more effective than the work I do now. And I still plan to do that. But the nice thing about these video games is they're precisely halfway between where I am and where I want to be. And 6 months ago, I was telling Natasha, this is where I want to be, and this is where I am, and I cannot get there from here. I can't get there from here. There's just no way. I can't do more work, and the work required to do a feature film is just shocking. I can't do more of it. I'm just running the hamster wheel to the melting point just to keep, treading water, holding position. And then all of a sudden along comes this thing which interests me because it's science fiction, and I think it's cool, and I understand the world. I'm a pilot, and I understand elements of this that the gamers don't understand. And we have people like Vipercheck and Matt and a few others we're going to be bringing in who do these kind of things in real life. And the benefit of that is it sounds real. It's got the feel of realism. It's got the ring of truth. And we'll see. But it is interesting to me that these things find themselves exactly halfway between the political work I'm doing and the storytelling I want to do. So we'll see. I'm certainly not going to put my name on it. I will post them on BillWhittle.com, but it's going to be its own YouTube channel, and it's going to be its own website, and my name's not going to appear anywhere on that. It's going to be essentially a role-played website, as if it were real. And that gives me a lot of power too. I'm not going to pretend that people won't figure out who I am, and I'm sure the left will start complaining to the makers of this game, and I'm preparing myself for that too. But it's not about me, and it's certainly not about me as a political commentator. I'm doing it because I know how to do it, and I kind of want to. It's fun. We've been working on costumes and stuff for this, and I've forgotten how much fun it is to get dressed up in costumes and walk around and do cool special effects and make interesting graphics and logos and all the rest of it. It's just fun for me. And the stories just tell themselves. And look, folks, I mean, just some part of it is I've been doing this long format stuff for 12 years now. I think, more than that. 14? Is that right? 2002? Yeah, 15 years, 14, 15 years. And I've done hundreds and hundreds of firewalls and afterburners, which is unbelievable. I've done 5,000 right angles. And it's not that I can't keep doing them. I can and I will keep doing them. I'm going to keep doing them, which is not what I was thinking about a year ago, but I will continue to keep doing them. But I'm a little bored with it, you know? I mean, I don't get any creative kick out of it. There are things that I feel like I have to say, and I say them, and I'm very proud of them when they come out, and I'm proud of the work on them, and I'm proud of how they look. But it's not something that I get much excited about anymore, and I suppose it's understandable. If you've been doing the same thing for 15 years, you would want to change too, especially if you're kind of an artist. You know, you can't just stay where you are. You got to get bigger, or you start to die. And I don't want to be as limited as I am when I do first person singular present tense lectures. I told Natasha many times too, because it was really looking like I was just not going to get there. It just wasn't going to happen. And it still may not, needless to say, but I was telling her, and she told me the same thing everybody else tells me when I talk about trying to make a move into movies. And again, this is just what people tell me. They say, Bill, you're so good at this. You're just really, really good at this. And I say, well, thank you. I believe that's true, but it's not what I want to do. Yeah, but it's really important. The work you're doing is important, and you're really, really needs to be done. And that's when I start thinking that the people that like the work that I do already, that'd be you guys. I just come out and say it. You have no idea what I am capable of doing if I had the resources to do it. I think I would amaze people. I know it's a very arrogant thing to say, and it's not coming from an arrogant place. I just think that people would be surprised at what I feel like I'm capable of doing if I had the entire toolbox at my fingertips. And I'm going to give it a try. So we'll see. I may be wrong. No, who am I kidding? That's inconceivable. But one way or another, we're going to get one done, and then at the very least we can look at it, because there's no way to raise money for this without showing it to people. There's no way I can go to Republican donors and explain this. I've been trying to explain it to you guys for 2.5, 3 months now, something like that. Most people still don't understand it or like it, and that's okay. I understand that. So we're going to do one of them, and I suspect that we're going to do more than one of them, one way or another. So there you go.